Θα καλέσω τώρα στο βήμα τον Dr. Simon Kuhn, ο οποίος είναι γιατρός από το Cambridge και ο οποίος είναι συγγραφέας του βιβλίου The Olive Oil Diet. Πραγματικά πιστεύω ότι θα ακούσω πάρα πολύ ενδιαφέροντα πράγματα. Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you very much. I'd like to begin with an apology, a thank you, and an introduction. So the apology is that I'm unable to speak Greek. I apologize. Normally when I talk about extra virgin olive oil and the Mediterranean diet, I get very excited, and so my speech gets very quick and very fast. So I apologize to the translator. That's okay, Simon. No problem. I'd also like to thank you. Thank you for inviting me here. And also, thank you for what you're giving to the world. My wife and I climbed the Acropolis today, as we do when we arrive in Athens, and I was reflecting on all the gifts that Greece has given the world. Democracy, civilization, the theatre, Hippocrates, Galen, and of course, extra virgin olive oil of very fine quality and continuing to give the world. So by way of introduction, I am a practicing doctor in Cambridge in England, and my career as a practicing doctor took a turn. It changed a few years ago when I was giving another prescription for another medication out to another patient. And when I read that 70 to 80% of chronic diseases could be prevented by diet and lifestyle changes, and how extraordinarily important that is. So I became interested in the Mediterranean diet as a pattern of excellent health, and started talking to my patients about the Mediterranean diet, and then I got invited to talk to larger groups. I got invited to talk to doctors, because doctors are very ignorant of diet, very ignorant of the Mediterranean diet in particular. I now find myself talking to politicians, I talk to food industry, particularly in the UK, to try to promote the Mediterranean diet for the benefit of those patients of mine who can avoid chronic diseases. So I will talk about the Mediterranean diet and olive oil. I can talk for a very long time, but I'm passionate and enjoy it. I have 20 minutes today. May I take 20 minutes from that clock and finish at 20 past 1? So what I tell my patients, and I want to tell you today how I communicate with patient groups and others in the public about the Mediterranean diet and extra virgin olive oil. So I've written a book called The Olive Oil Diet, which starts to describe the Mediterranean diet, fundamentally beginning with extra virgin olive oil. And I tell my patients there's good news. There's good news about diet. There's good news about the way they can change their health. But it's not just good news, it's really good news. It's exceptional news, because actually that diet is extraordinarily tasty. It's extraordinarily healthy. So the Mediterranean diet is a recipe for wellness. It's associated with reduced risks of all of these diseases. It's an extraordinary medication. This is a graph similar to Dan's graph, which he showed you the possibilities in terms of the increases in chronic diseases that we're going to see unless something changes. But there are possibilities to change that. Some colleagues in Cambridge at the Medical Research Council estimated that in the UK, nearly 20,000 deaths a year could be prevented if people adopted a more Mediterranean-style diet. Now, we've had definitions of the Mediterranean diet. When I tell groups in the public about what constitutes the Mediterranean diet, I take them through this, and particularly the importance of extra virgin olive oil with every meal for preparing, flavouring and finishing meals. This is a graphic. We have many graphics describing the Mediterranean diet. This is a graphic that I use in my book, describing the benefits of extra virgin olive oil. I think the diet is actually based on a foundation of extra virgin olive oil, with the other ingredients added to it. There are other ways, of course, very good ways, excellent ways of communicating the Mediterranean diet. And actually, the Mediterranean diet, we now understand the reasons. So modern science now can explain why the Mediterranean diet works. Now, I don't know about here, but certainly in Northwest Europe, we're now having conversations about macronutrients, about fats, about carbohydrates. And now we're telling people they should eat lots of fat. Or we're telling people they should eat no carb, low carb, high fat. It's actually all nonsense. We should just stick with the Mediterranean diet, which has high quality carbohydrates, high fiber, unrefined sugars, low saturated fat, and the saturated fats that are in the Mediterranean diet are high quality saturated fats, like the fats in fermented products from goats and sheep's cheese and yogurt. High in monounsaturated fats, like we know occurs in extra virgin olive oil. It's unprocessed, with high quality proteins, so proteins often from beans rather than from meat. Many vegetables a day, and as we've heard, it's got high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory actions. So I think we need to understand that food is more than the macronutrients, and that the quality of the food counts. The calorie counting has limited value, and that we should be very focused on lifestyle. We also have to start talking about the new and really exciting science about your gut microbes. Because of course we don't eat our food. Many of us believe we eat our food. Actually our gut microbes eat our food. So it's really important to keep our gut microbes happy. How many of us wake up in the morning and think today I'm going to have a diet that helps my gut bacteria? Because that's what we should be thinking. We know that extra virgin olive oil in the Mediterranean diet creates a very healthy gut bacteria. Also, food combination and interactions is really important. People are astonished when they say to me, well, I can't eat pasta because it's too much carbohydrate. It causes my sugar levels to rise. But then you say, well, if you eat pasta with extra virgin olive oil, it reduces those sugar rises. It reduces what's called the glycemic load of a meal. So it's about talking about interactions as well. And it's talking about positive nutrition as well. So much of the time we hear about what we can't eat. Let's start talking about the really good quality foods we can eat, like extra virgin olive oil. And a plant-based diet is what we need to be moving towards, with extra virgin olive oil at its centre. I'll skip through these slides, but this is just to illustrate that actually quality of food is really important. This is some research about the quality of wheat, modern wheat versus old grains, undertaken by Professor Benedetti in Italy, showing that the polyphenol levels in ancient varieties of bread is far superior to those in modern wheat. Food quality is important in wine as well. Wine taken with meal has a completely different effect on people physiologically than drinking alcohol by itself. This is a graph which is too detailed. I don't expect you to follow this, but this essentially shows that polyphenol levels in red wine, procyanidin levels in red wine, are important in terms of blood vessel health. And the graph showing the bar chart shows that the levels of procyanidin polyphenols in red wines can vary enormously. Interestingly, it's very similar to the polyphenol variation in extra virgin olive oil. So you can grow a red wine at altitude under some stress, not irrigating it, and it will increase its polyphenol levels, its procyanidin levels, and that will have an impact on our blood vessel health. So this is a picture just of some olive trees and some vines growing together, in this case in Sardinia, which has a particularly interesting and very healthy red wine. So extra virgin olive oil, I think, should be at the heart of the Mediterranean diet. And this is a graphic that I show people to encourage them to actually consume extra virgin olive oil every day. 30 to 50 mils of oil with food. Also that it affects the taste, so that we understand now that polyphenols affect the taste, and people should be looking for good peppery oils, and understanding their chemistry, and understanding polyphenols. So I think my job will be done when I can walk down a London street, and I can say to a stranger passing, I can say, what is a polyphenol? And they will be able to say, oh, polyphenol is a really important chemical. It occurs in extra virgin olive oil. And it depends on how you produce the extra virgin olive oil. And then I want to say, which oil are you consuming today? and then the stranger in the street will say, I'm consuming Yanni's, or whatever. And you say, I love the taste, and I love the polyphenols, and then my job will be done. So there are some studies which show the central role of extra virgin olive oil, studies which show that actually it reduces, has an effect on the donor, as we see. I will skip through these, just describing fats and antioxidants and anti-inflammatory components. We have a lot of myths, we have a lot of stories around in the Western Northwest Europe, which says, for example, it's not safe to cook with extra virgin olive oil. For example, that extra virgin olive oils are all the same, or that it's a waste to cook in extra virgin olive oil. Many stories that are actually not based on truth. And unfortunately, this results in this graph, which shows the country consumption of extra virgin olive oil. Greece is, of course, right at the top. This was in 2013-14, sadly showing a decrease in the consumption of extra virgin olive oil in 2014 in comparison with 2013. The UK and the USA are consuming about a litre of extra virgin olive oil per person per year. Now, when you look at the Predimed studies and you look at the science, which shows that we should be consuming 30 to 50 mils of good quality extra virgin olive oil per day, that translates as 12 litres per person per year. And we in the UK are consuming just 1 litre per person per year. And considering that is an average, some people are consuming much more than others. People joke to me and say, well, of all of that, you're consuming most of the olive oil that comes into the UK. So a litre a year, we've got a long way that we can go. Another myth is that olive oil is expensive, and I encourage people to look for good quality oils. And this is a common Greek oil, along with a common, with apologies, Spanish oil, that we can get in the UK, and this costs €8 a litre. Now that's not a lot of money. You can spend €8 on a bottle of wine, you can spend €8 on many things. So to some extent, when people say extra virgin olive oil is expensive, we have to convince them that it's a matter of priorities, and it's a matter of how much they are willing to spend on their health. A pint of beer in a London pub costs about half of the price per litre of extra virgin olive oil. So it's not that expensive. There are myths about not being able to fry. I haven't got time really to show you this study. But there was a recent study coming from Melbourne, from Australia, from one college, which showed that extra virgin olive oil is not only safe to use for cooking, but it is actually the desired oil to be used for cooking. I don't know whether anybody has read the article in the Olive Oil Times from a couple of days ago, which described the study, because the study was only published a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, and it was covered in the Olive Oil Times. The amount of trans fats that you can see produced in canola oil are significantly higher than EVU, which is the one right on the left. We need to tell the stories of how extra virgin olive oil interfaces with other foods. It increases insulin sensitivity, it increases your satiety, so it means that you feel full when you're consuming extra virgin olive oil. There are many other wonderful things that oil does when it's combined with other food. It reduces the carcinogenic heterocyclic amines when you marinate in extra virgin olive oil. So it's a really important factor now. We know about the fact that food quality can vary, and food quality we know varies in extra virgin olive oil. I was at a competition in London a few days ago, and I saw all these beautiful oils lined up, and I realized that each one of those oils tells a story. It tells your story as a producer of how you've produced that. It tells stories of how the weather was that year. It tells a story of how much you've put into producing it, so that it's the most healthy product. It tells stories of how that oil has been harvested to maximize the quality. So every oil, bottle of oil, tells a story, and that story is about its quality. And I think we need to start telling those stories to people so they understand the importance of the quality of oils. Power of antioxidants, and we know these can vary. We know that there are factors that can affect polyphenol levels, like the processing, the time of harvest, irrigation, and so on. This is also a graph about safety of cooking. This is the antioxidant capacity, showing that the antioxidant capacity of extra virgin olive oil right on the left is far greater than other oils when it's used for cooking. These are mouse brains. We've seen pictures of these before. This is oleopurin, reducing the risk of Alzheimer's. In my studies, there's the EFSA compliance regulation for hydroxytyrosol, and we know that oleocanthal is also a very important polyphenol. So I'm going to wrap up quickly. I just think we need to communicate about not only the importance of quality of extra virgin olive oil, but how we combine it in meals, and recipes are really important to share with people. So thank you for listening. I hope I haven't spoken too fast, for which I apologize. Thank you.